Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and this is the KingCast. Welcome to the podcast on all things Bethesda. Today we've got a lot to talk about. We've got Starfield. We're going to talk about Starfield quite a bit today. In fact, that's going to be the major thing we talk about. But could there be, and I saw it in the chat, could there be a Fallout 5 coming? Well, I don't think so, but we're going to see why people even like What Culture and Game Rant are saying that Xbox has leaked a Fallout 5 or Fallout 5 information. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about all the things that are new with Fallout 76 and answer all of your questions and comments today. So welcome to the KingCast. Y'all let me know how everything looks, how everything is sounding, and we'll make sure we're up and running correct. Welcome, DBZ Collector, Kane, let's see, Jenkins. Hey, bud, how's it going? Good to have you here. Cliffhanger is here as well. And yes, I'm reading all your comments already today. I put up a poll on my Twitter page about Starfield, if you're hyped for Starfield. And I got about 200 answers, and I'm glad I did. I only did it this morning, but 55% of my followers anyway say that they are hyped, very hyped for Starfield. Then there's 23% that are excited but nervous. 14% say, what's Starfield? And then 8% say they're going to stay with Fallout. So I would like to hear what you guys are going to do about Starfield. If you're excited, yes, I believe it's coming this year at E3. And we're going to go over a lot of information on Starfield today because there's been a lot of leaks. Now, you know me, I don't deal with leaks most of the time, but these have been confirmed to have come from Bethesda. So when you're this close to E3 and all these leaks come out that look to be very confirmed and coming from Bethesda, then absolutely, yes, we have to cover it. All right, first thing I want to cover, though, today. Hey, Renrut, what's going on? Hey, Thomas, what's going on? This Fallout 5 news. Again, I was shocked this week that What Culture, which is a pretty big internet deal, pretty big YouTube channel, they actually came out with their main people saying that Xbox leaked information about Fallout 5. But before you get really, really excited, I don't think that happened. And I'm going to tell you exactly what they were going off of and why, the reason I haven't made a video off of it or anything like that. Ben Decker, which is the head of gaming services for Xbox, was being interviewed. And he made a little bitty statement, and people went crazy off of it. But his statement was about Xbox and Bethesda working on things like Halo, Forza, Fallout, Starfield, and a new IP. Well, wait a minute. He just said Fallout. Well, yes, because Fallout 76 is an ongoing game. They are going to be working on Fallout. He didn't mention TES 6. And this is certainly not a place that they would preview like a Fallout New Vegas 2 or a Fallout spinoff or something like that. But what Culture was saying is that he slipped up and said something. But no, I really don't think that he did. I think he was talking about Fallout 76. But y'all are welcome to tell me what you think down in the comments below. But I mean, he mentioned Starfield. He did mention a new IP and then Fallout alongside Halo and Forza. But Fallout 76 is a game they're going to be working on, guys, for a long, long time, I hope. And I hope you feel that same way as well. Okay, getting into Starfield, like I said, that's the main thing we're going to talk about today. I am going to cover Fallout 76. If you're here only for Fallout 76 news, I hope not. But stick around till the end, and we're going to talk about a bunch of things about Fallout. The new PTS, the public test server, is open with brand new things like Steel Rain. Yes, you can play through Steel Rain now on the PTS. Legendary crafting, and we're going to go all over that. But I literally have a page full of notes on Starfield. And if you saw the thumbnail to this video, then you've seen a couple of the leaked photos that, like I said, have been confirmed to be from Bethesda. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics because we could go for a whole podcast about how we know this is from Bethesda and all this, but from the URL numbers and other things, we know that it did come from Bethesda. I have a question. Why? Was this an accident? Was it on purpose? You know, Bethesda always loves to give us little teases before E3. I'm not saying this was done on purpose, but I actually think it was done on purpose, whether it was done by Bethesda themselves or by a departing Bethesda employee. Remember, Bethesda has lost several, and I say lost, I don't know if they've been let go. I don't know if they've got new opportunities, but Bethesda has been losing a lot of not only developers, but artists, and Nick Perkapile was one that left. So could it be a leak coming from that? Yes, absolutely. But could it also be from Bethesda teasing us about what's coming? Now, most of these photos came from an earlier build of the game, like 2018, but you can go look online and see that there are several leaked pictures out there. But the one that I am most interested in is the one that was actually made. It looks kind of like concept art. It's on the thumbnail of this post. It has what looks like a watch. It also has different ships and everything. This was actually made for the Bethesda.net page, okay? This is going to be one of those header pictures. So again, this is coming straight from Bethesda. Hey, David. Hey, DeMar. Hey, Vaughn. Good to see you again. Hey, Todd. Great to see you. And Trey as well. What we have seen from these pictures and what I want to get your reaction to is some of the knowledge now that we're learning about the game. Excuse me, I just hit the camera there. It almost appears absolutely 100% confirmed, and this is not huge news. We figured this was going to happen, but it looks like there is going to be base building in the game. From the pictures, you can actually see what looks like wall sections and different things. You know, how we built in Fallout 4 and how we build in Fallout 76. So I believe base building is definitely going to be a thing in Starfield. Oh, thank you, Todd. Bless your heart so much. Todd says, I have been delinquent in donation. Apologies. Life continues to rear its ugly head. Well, bless your heart. You have been an awesome supporter of the KingCast and of me in this channel, and I thank you so much. Don't you dare apologize for any of that. DeMar says, I hope more content comes for 76 and more frequently. I believe you're going to be satisfied in the future about that. I believe because of COVID and because of the water and ice situation that they had down there, they got behind. But yes, I do believe that they are going to have more. In fact, I've been saying this all along, and I know I'm going to Fallout 76, but I'm answering the question. I believe it's going to be a every 3-month deal. They're going to be releasing something big, or trying to, just like they do with ESO. And if you look, that's what they're trying to do, but they got behind with COVID. So DeMar says, in regards to Starfield, what kind of sci-fi are you expecting? We're going to get into that right now. That's what we're just about to talk about. David said, I would say that it has to do with 76. Yeah, we're talking about that. Vaughn says, just dropping by, streaming right now. We'll catch up with you later. Hugs, love you and yours, King. Oh, bless your heart. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you. Hey, Vault Girl. Good to see you as well. So base building is definitely going to be a part of Starfield. Now, the interesting thing with the base building is, where are we going to be building these bases? It appears, and again, this is not breaking huge news, but we're going to be able to explore different planets. Now, I don't believe it's going to be a No Man's Sky game at all. And I love the question that DeMar asked. What kind of sci-fi are you looking at? What do you think it's going to be? Well, let's just go off some things that we know. Todd Howard said that he wanted a realistic, or a more realistic sci-fi. And what we've seen in some of these pictures is they have gravity meters, there's oxygen meters. So there's several survival type things that you're going to have to keep up with in Starfield, and that just makes sense. I mean, obviously you've got your XP and AP meters that are normal in Fallout or even in the Elder Scrolls. But in a space game, there's going to be other things that you have to think about. And the neat thing about that, and y'all can tell I'm excited because I'm just rattling this stuff off. Since you have a gravity meter, and that's on every picture we see, that's on the little watch, by the way, which is going to be our mini Pit Boy, it appears, in Starfield. But since there is a gravity meter, that means we're going to be in different environments with different kinds of gravity. And we may even, it appears, be able to do spacewalks as well, because in the pictures there is a jetpack on the back of one of the guys. So I love jetpacks, but just being a space game, gravity and all that, we're going to be able to be in a lot of different environments, which is really, really, really cool. Now, along with base building, this may be even more exciting. I believe there's going to be ship building or ship customization. Now, in one of the pictures, there is actually, and this is the one, like I said, this is the one we're most interested in. This comes straight from Bethesda. It is concept art, not really concept art, but art for the header of the Bethesda.net Starfield page, which blows my mind. But there are all kinds of different ships. There are big ones, there's little ones, and all kinds of different sizes and shapes. So it appears not only are we going to be able to have a starship, we're going to be able to pick our starship, and we're going to be able to customize our starship, because we have gotten a couple of pictures of different starships with different colors. They're the same one, but in different colors. So that base building that we talk about, or the settlement building that we talk about from Fallout, that started, kind of started with Skyrim, with Hearthfire, but really got into it in Fallout 4 and now Fallout 76. It appears that's going to be a huge part in Starfield. And quite honestly, I'm very, very, very excited about that. DBZ Collector says, I hope we get an avowed release date at E3, which is possible, by the way. And again, I'm going to say it again, E3 this year, we're definitely going to see Starfield. We're going to see it in all its glory. And they're talking about something going on in the summer, so we may get a little bit at E3 and even more during the summer. It's according to when the game is actually coming. I've heard different things. I've heard 3 different things on when Starfield is coming. Some say it's coming as early as this summer. That's super exciting. Most, like me, believe that it's coming this fall, which is a normal Bethesda Game Studios release date, being around November the 10th, somewhere around in there. If you remember, Skyrim came out 11/11/11. And then some even believe it's going to be spring of next year. If that's the case, then I can see them doing that E3 soft reveal and then a major something more into the summer. So we're just going to have to see where they are with the game, what all they want to do with it, how far they are behind. Now, that's the biggest thing we're hearing, is that the COVID deal has really put them behind. So I know they wanted a 2021 release, and I believe that's what they're pushing for. But they've also watched what happened to Cyberpunk and Fallout 76, to be frank, and they do not want that to happen again. Todd says, I think it will be better than Interstellar, not just our system. By the way, I do believe that as well. We're going to get into where Starfield is going to be in, but I guess we can go ahead and do it now, since this is a subscriber-driven podcast. So, Todd, yes, I believe we're going to start out in our system. But I'm going back to that one picture, and I put it on the thumbnail for a reason. The one that we know is from Bethesda. It came right from a Bethesda artist. They actually have, and really take the thumbnail and look at it, and it's really cool. But on the right-hand side of the picture, I believe they have a slingshot maneuver, which is done in space travel. Our own astronauts from the United States have done that with the moon to get back home. But they have it on this page where you're shooting around what appears to be Neptune. Now, why would we be doing a slingshot around Neptune? Well, because if you do not count Uranus, nobody laugh, if you do not count Uranus anymore as a planet, then Neptune is the last planet in what we know of as our little solar system here. So it appears we're going to be doing a slingshot around Neptune, either, Todd, to get back home to Earth, or what I think, to get out of our solar system into the Starfield. This is set in the future. It's going to be set, I believe, about 200 years into the future. Another thing that comes from that picture that I'm talking about that we know is from Bethesda, there is a floating city. Now, whether this is, it appears probably to be a massive space station. Everybody else is calling it a city. But if you notice, all these spaceships are pulling up to it. So it may simply be you did laugh at Uranus. This may be a space station, and it may be the space station that we're centered out of. So yes, I do believe we're going to have, it's going to start at least in our little galaxy, but I believe definitely we're going to go out of our galaxy. So that makes me wonder, is there going to be cities on other planets? I think so. I think our system is going to be built up just a little bit. Okay, take a time out for just a minute. My darling wife has just called me, who is out of town. In fact, she's a long way out of town. She's in where, Tennessee?
I am in Pigeon Forge at the moment.
Oh, that's where Dolly Parton's from, right?
Well,
yes. Yeah. Pigeon Forge.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, Miss Queen. How are you doing?
Well, I am doing great, my king.
It is great.
How's the show?
Well, the show's going good. We're talking Starfield. You would be bored, so hey.
Oh, no, I'm interested in Starfield, so that would be pretty cool.
Okay, yes, we're talking all about Starfield today, and it's going great. But thank you for calling in. I love you, and I miss you.
I just want to tell everybody, hey, so y'all have an awesome show. I love you, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you, baby. I love you.
I love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye. So there was my queen. She's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. She's taking care of some business and getting to see some really, really, really cool places. Oh, Todd, again, thank you so much. You said take the queen to dinner on me. I will do it. Absolutely. As soon as she gets back, I will do it. Let me catch up on these questions, and then I'll get back to Starfield. Hey, John, what's going on? But Todd, I'm going to tell y'all again about the super chats. My income went to zero on YouTube because of my sickness and taking care of my mom and all that. So I have been living honestly on super chats. So thank y'all so much. You don't know how much those mean in the good times, and they especially mean something in the bad times. Cliff says he's really excited for the building aspect. Kane says, if I had to connect it to a sci-fi franchise, I would say it's kind of a Battlestar Galactica meets Babylon 5. That makes sense. I would say a Star Trek before it got that advanced. If y'all saw Star Trek Enterprise, that series, I would put it right before that, somewhere right in there. That kind, but there are going to be factions, and I'm going to talk about those. We actually got some names of factions that have come out. Aliens have not been confirmed yet, but I still believe there's going to be some kind of, you can't have a sci-fi game without aliens. Todd says, is it more like original Fallout to more like an MME like 76? Well, Starfield is going to be single player, period. So I'm so happy about that. I'm ready to get back to a single player experience. Let's see. Did I catch up? Hey, John. Thomas says, great insights on Starfield, King. Thank you so much. And Vaughn with the $5 euro. Thank you so much. Thanking you, King, for the last Scary Places video. Awesome. By the way, if you haven't seen that, it's on the Big Bend Tunnel. And John Henry, if you don't know anything about John Henry, do yourself a favor and watch that, because I've sang a song about John Henry my whole life. And it was great to learn more about him. If you've seen any of the pictures of Starfield, the game is looking gorgeous. It really looks sharper than 76, which it should, because they've had a total overhaul of the engine. But I'm really impressed with the textures and the look. Now, we haven't seen landscape. We haven't seen anything like that. And we haven't seen any high res pictures. Oh, thank you, Vault Girl. There is a link to the Big Bend Tunnel Scary Places that I just did. Thank you so much. Sing the song. Well, John Henry was a little bitty boy sitting on his mammy's knee. I'm not gonna. Everybody will stop watching if I keep singing, but that's the song. Picked up a hammer and a little piece of steel, said this hammer's gonna be the death of me, Lord, Lord. Kane, yes, it is almost completely a new engine. The reason I don't say Bethesda's using a new engine is because people will call me on it. It's not technically, everything is not new, but yes, most of the engine is new, and the parts that are not new have been reworked. So looking really good. And again, remember, all those pics that you're going to see on Starfield, every one of them are from an older build. Oh, thank you, David. David Jackson with $10. Thank you so much. Hope this helps. Me and my queen are doing good. We even got vaccinated in March. So thankful to hear that you are doing well. That does my heart very well. And thank you so much for the super chat. And yes, it does absolutely help. Damar again, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says, I dig Starfield's aesthetic. I do too. I think it's really looking really cool. And by the way, I think that's interesting, and y'all please fill in what you think. With what you've seen so far, what kind of sci-fi would you compare Starfield to? Star Wars, Star Trek, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, something totally different? I believe, again, it's going to be a more gritty, and this is coming from Todd Howard, when space travel is still pretty new, even though there's obviously been a lot of advances, but being able to fly out of our system, our star system, our galaxy, I believe is going to be a brand new thing. Again, that's why you see that slingshot maneuver. So we're not talking about major warp engines and all that going on yet. If you're wanting to go light speed, you're probably not going to do it. And well, I won't say that. You may be. The slingshot may have been, from something else. I won't get ahead of that. But I will say we're talking about less developed space travel than you see in most space movies, being Star Wars or Star Trek. So, and again, that's coming straight from Todd Howard. I don't know if y'all saw this, but Bethesda's managing director, Ashley Chang, she's another one that kind of confirmed all these leaks. She was pictured wearing a shirt that had a brand new logo. Bye, Vaughn. Do good on your stream. I wish I could watch it right now. And by the way, Vaughn, are you on YouTube or are you on Twitch? If you haven't already gone, let us know. Anyway, Bethesda's managing director, Ashley Chang, was wearing a shirt with a logo, and it wasn't the Starfield logo that you see on the old trailer and stuff. It is the Starfield logo that you actually see on the patch on the leaked images. So another one there. Okay, Vaughn is on Twitch, y'all. So y'all go find Vaughn on Twitch and not right now. I'd hate for y'all to leave now, but we would love to watch Vaughn streaming, and I very much want to support. Not you, somebody else. Okay, I very much want to support my subscribers and what they do. So this Ashley Chang really confirmed all these leaks because of that logo. So you're going to be getting to see that logo. And by the way, that logo is also in my thumbnail. I made sure and put that picture on there. Let's see. Todd Howard talked about Starfield in an interview that not a lot of people have talked about. I'm not sure if Scholesy talked about this. He does a really good job covering Starfield, so I'm sure he did. But it was at Brighton Digital, and he said this. This is a quote from Todd Howard, okay? He said, both TES 6, being the Elder Scrolls 6, and Starfield, y'all with me? Both these games, he said, will have bigger cities than any of the previous Bethesda Game Studios games. Well, what does that mean to us? That means Starfield is going to have cities. Again, we see that either floating city or space station, but I believe there will be cities like on the moon, on Mars, in our solar system. I believe you're going to see those cities. And again, we're going to get to build our own settlements or homes or whatever we're going to be able to do. But that is encouraging to me for two things. Number one, we learned that there's going to be cities in Starfield. But number two, you think about Skyrim and the cities that they had, Whiterun, Windhelm, some of these. Not bad, but I'm ready to see a bigger city with more going on. Now, I do want to say this, and this is a little defense. I don't want it so big that you can't interact with anybody like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's got great, huge, big cities, and yes, their NPCs are doing stuff, but most of them won't even talk to you. They may say one thing and then put question marks up over their head. So I want an interactive city. Yes, make it bigger, make it, more stuff in it, but I would rather it be the size of Whiterun with more stuff going on than something like Cyberpunk where you can't interact with it. And I believe with the Bethesda Game Studios game, you're going to be able to interact with anything and everything that is in there. So that is very exciting about that. Absolutely. Jay says, hey, King, hope all is well and you're feeling better. Not able to catch a KingCast in a while. Stay strong and remember, for the brotherhood. I am feeling better. I've had 2 really good days. I was really sick there for a while with my lupus, but I'm feeling much better right now. Thank you so much for that. Todd Howard also said that they are going to use a lot more procedural, did I say that right? I'm not saying it right at all. Procedural generation. That don't even sound right, but y'all know what I'm talking about, where the editor automatically puts things down and then Bethesda can move it around. This means, yes, we are going to obviously have multiple planets. Thank you, King. But again, I don't expect a No Man's Sky at all. No Man's Sky, you could go to, I don't know how many planets, but they were just all procedurally generated. I don't think we're going to have that, but I believe with them using that technology, it will allow us to have more planets to go to, and then they will build their cities or settlements or whatever within that place. I mentioned this before. Let me say this again. Factions are a part of Starfield, and I'm going to mention 2 of the factions. If you don't want to know, plug your ears. One is the Black Fleet, which I'm going to say something about that in just a minute, which is kind of neat. Probably sounds like the bad guys, maybe. I don't know. And then there is the Space Nation Alliance. Those are 2 that we know about. Again, they came off of those pictures that we know came from Bethesda. The Black Fleet is kind of interesting if you know anything, and I wished I knew the guy's name right off the top of my head. But back a few years ago, there was a guy from Britain that actually hacked NASA's computers. I don't know if you knew this, and he found on NASA's computers a whole list of on planet and off planet employees and people in the military, which is kind of interesting. And he found what was called, or what was labeled, the Black Fleet, which was the secret space force, if you will. So if you believe all that, now he really did hack NASA. He really did get arrested. And that's what he says he found on NASA. So I think there's a little tip of the hat there, probably by Bethesda, to that with the Black Fleet. So that's neat. Todd says, very Star Wars, Empire versus Rebels. Sounds like it. Yep, the two factions, the Black Fleet versus the Space Nation Alliance, which sounds like Star Trek too, because they are what, the Interplanetary Alliance, the Federation, which is, y'all are going to see my geekdom come out. I love Star Wars and I love Star Trek. I'll watch them all the time. Again, we're finally going to get to explore things with vehicles in this. Now, don't get excited. I don't know if we're going to have a rover for the planet and all that, but we are going to have our own starship, at least. So we're going to get to fly around and do that. And again, I said earlier, the jetpack is on the back. We're going to be in different environments, probably spacewalk. So that's exciting too. Bad news. And we've talked about this before, but it just keeps really getting pinned down and pinned down and pinned down. It seems like that Starfield, are y'all ready for this news? It seems like Starfield is going to be an exclusive to the Xbox and PC. Jeff Grubb came out and said, and he's just an insider. He's not, he's just a guy like me that does this, but he's got a lot of contacts. But he says he is now 99% sure it is going to be an Xbox exclusive. So there will be no PS5 version. I hate that. I wished I have been saying I thought it was going to be a timed exclusive, but Jeff Grubb is saying it's going to be an absolute exclusive. Now, the good news is that I believe it will be a Game Pass day one. So, and they're also talking about Sony getting Game Pass. I hope that happens that way everybody can play it. But it seems like Xbox is really, really pushing Game Pass. And if you think about it, Game Pass is a really, really good deal if you haven't played some of those games. And if you're getting a brand new $60 to $70 game on day one, then Game Pass is a pretty good thing. So hopefully it will be on Game Pass, and hopefully maybe Sony people can play it that way. I really, really, really hope so. Again, I believe it is coming this E3 and coming, going to be released this fall, but we talked about the different dates that are going to be on it. A lot to talk about on Starfield. I still have a few more things to say, but I'm watching the time. We're already over halfway through the podcast, and I do want to at least mention some of the things that are coming from Fallout 76, the things that are going on in Fallout 76, but please feel free to keep talking about your questions, your comments, anything you have talking about Starfield. Jeremy says 76 has decent city sizes, just not very active. I agree again. And of course, with 76, there wasn't, nobody was there in the beginning of the game. But if any of y'all watched the AMA, you couldn't really watch it, but you can, what I mean, the question and answer thing that was done on Reddit with the Bethesda Game Studios developers on 76. I asked a question. Thankfully, it got answered. But this is what I would really like to see in the future. Y'all tell me. But I said, can you not and will you be opening up some of the boarded up buildings and maybe moving some people in, moving some quests in. You think about Charleston, my word, so many things that are boarded up there in Charleston. But all of the cities, like Jeremy said, all of the cities are not active at all. And it would just make sense for people to start moving back into the cities. We have people making their own little cities, but there's got to be a point in this game where people start moving back into the actual cities and taking over some of those areas. And hopefully they'll be boarding up some of those houses and making them useful new exploration places and all that. So hopefully we'll be getting bigger cities in Fallout 76 before its conclusion. Okay, as I mentioned, the PTS is open right now. The public test server is open right now. We're going to go over what's going on in that in just a moment. But if you didn't know, double score is going on in the main game right now, which of course helps you with the scoreboard. So if you fall behind in the scoreboard, right now is the time to do your challenges, do your dailies, do your weeklies, and you get double score. Next weekend, starting May the, what is it? I thought I would know it, 20th. That would be Thursday, next Thursday. Double XP begins. And of course, that's where you get, instead of double score on the scoreboard, you get your level to go up twice as fast. So that is really exciting that that's coming out. And then also remember, they are rescheduling the treasure hunter event because the spawn rates were not right with the treasure hunter event. So it is coming back if you didn't get to do much with that. All of those things are happening very soon. Now, the PTS, what can you do in the PTS? Todd, thank you so much. And he says, don't take Queen to the Waffle House, take her somewhere nicer. This should help. That is very funny. And one of the reasons, Todd, that is so funny is, and y'all are going to think bad of me, the day we got married, our wedding day, our very first meal after leaving the church house was at the Waffle House. It was, and I'll always have that our very first meal as husband and wife was at the Waffle House. So hey, Todd, the Waffle House is special to us. Oh me, I was a police officer, so I ate the Waffle House a lot. Maybe. So hopefully y'all don't think bad of me about that. But thank you, Todd. 50 more bucks. Thank you so much. Y'all are awesome, awesome, awesome. Getting me caught up. Thank you so much. The PTS, I don't know how many of you guys do it. Don't just tune me out if you don't have a computer, because some of this is going to be relevant to what's coming very soon. Let me first say that May the 25th is another update. So there's one update coming in between now and Steel Rain. Steel Rain's coming in July. May the 25th, there's going to be an update, and it's mostly going to be getting prepared for Steel Rain. But I want to tell you, Bethesda always puts stuff in their updates that they don't tell us about. They will move things in the world. One thing that you may not know, I was talking to Ghost, and she hadn't realized it yet, and I hadn't realized it until just the other day. They've actually added a few things in the challenges. If you know, you have your daily challenges, your weekly challenges, but then there's things where you can make atoms by doing certain things. They've actually added a few categories there where you can get more atoms. One is once you've done, I don't know if it's all of them or most of them, of the daily, what are they called? Daily events. You can get 80 atoms. So check that. They're always putting new stuff in. So I say all that to say the May 25th update, by the way, that is covered a little bit in the Inside the Vault. They said there's going to be bug fixes, which, by the way, there's several bugs that are going on right now. Hopefully I'll have time to go over a couple of those with you before we quit. Hopefully they will fix those, but what it's mainly doing is getting ready for the Steel Rain event, and they put those surprises in there too. So what's going on in the public test server right now? And by the way, remember, there are still rewards for going over and playing in the public test server. So if you've got a computer and you haven't ever done that, it would be good to you. The only bad thing about the PTS is the spoilers. You're obviously things are going to be spoiled for you. Steel Rain in its completion is in the public test server right now. So you can actually go play through the whole Brotherhood of Steel quest line from start to finish. The second half is over there right now, which is the main thing they're testing right now. But there's also some other things. There's also Meat Week, which is coming to us later. Aren't you excited about Meat Week? Meat Week is supposed to be a July event. It's July 4th is what it was originally for. So they're testing that because they've had some troubles with Meat Week in the past. Hopefully that means they're adding some things to Meat Week. I'll have all that information next week if you want it. Then the really, really, really cool thing that I cannot wait for is legendary crafting. The way that we're able to craft our Secret Service armor and the Brotherhood of Steel armor by using the legendary modules, we're actually going to be able to pretty much do that with all things now. You're going to be able to make your own guns, your own armor, and that is exciting. But that's not all. I'm kind of like the guy. There's more. You're going to be able to put legendary effects onto your power armor. So if you are a power armor build, you're going to get to put legendary stuff on that. Todd says, are you going to be able to craft a specific weapon? Yes. Now, remember though, using the modules, you have no idea what the legendary effects are going to be. But say you have the fixer plan, or whatever. If you don't know what the fixer is, just say you're going to make a combat shotgun. Okay, you will be able to make the combat shotgun with the legendary modules, and it will then be legendary. So yes, you will get to make whatever weapon you want. So that's really, that's such a help, because say you're a shotgun build, say you're a heavy gun build, whatever it may be, you've got to wait on the purveyor or somebody else to drop the actual specific gun you want. But say you are a heavy gun build, you can just sit there and build 10 50 cals and see what the legendary effects are and take the best one. So yes, thank you, Kane. Double Script is on June 10th through the 14th. By the way, if y'all don't have it, I had them pulled up here a minute ago. There is a calendar that is out that shows when everything is coming, and I can pull those up real quick. If y'all had any more questions about what's coming, again, double scores going on right now. Double XP is next weekend, and then the weekend after that is Gold Rush weekend, and then it goes back into the first weekend of June, another double score. Then the next week, every weekend is something. Then the next weekend is Script Surplus. That's June 10th through the 14th. Then there's a Purveyor Sale, June 17th through August. Through June the 21st. My eyesight isn't good. And then there is yet another double score weekend. That is 3 double score weekends. Boom, boom, boom. Here in May and June. So we should have no trouble. But that is going to be the last weekend in June. So every weekend there's something new. And then, of course, Steel Rain is coming in July. And remember, there is a May 25th update, but not much going to be in it. The legendary crafting that I was talking about, what is so cool about legendary crafting, there's a lot of things that are cool. But again, you're going to be able to put legendary effects on power armor. So anything you can think of, you're going to be able to put legendary effects on it. They're also talking about now being able to sell and trade things that are bought and made with gold bullion. So thank you, Bethesda, for doing that as well. Those are all exciting. I believe there's also a legendary fusion core. There's all kinds of things that are about to come back. Yes, May 25th, like I said, Mr. Lewis and Kane, that's going to be hopefully a bug fix week. That's next Thursday that it's coming, or a week from Thursday. Yeah, we're the 15th now, May 25th, 10 days from now. Jeremy, I don't know. He says you probably won't be able to sell legendary crafted stuff. That's a very good question, thought, statement. I don't know. The only reason I would say maybe you will be able to is because they're trying to, like the Secret Service armor, the Brotherhood of Steel armor, that stuff is going to be tradable and sellable very soon. So hopefully they get to where you can buy and sell everything. The reason to other players, yeah, I know. The reason they don't, or the reason they wouldn't, would be duped items. That would be the only thing I can see, because I can see somebody that knows how to dupe, doing the absolute best killer gun there is and making 20 of them and putting them in their vending machine. So yes, Kane backed me up that yes, the fusion core is going to be part of the items that you can craft and that can be legendary. So if that's true, and we're hearing that it is, then you're going to have some major legendary effects. I may have to switch to power armor. Wow, just think about that. Yeah, 4-star doesn't come until the winter update. You're absolutely right. So right now you can play through, again, Steel Rain. You can do your legendary crafting. You can do Meat Week and more in the PTS. I encourage you to do that if you do have a PC, and you can do that. I also mentioned that the Treasure Hunter event is being rescheduled because of the spawn rates. And does anybody have the date yet on when the Treasure Hunter event is going to be? I didn't have time to look to see if they'd said it yet, and I apologize. But y'all, please put in the comments. Okay, yeah, I didn't think we knew yet. I want to say very quickly before we move on, and I mean, we're getting very close to the end, so y'all be sure and get your questions and comments in. Wolford says Starfield being exclusive is a real shame, and then he says, just kidding, Xbox all day long. You turkey. Mr. Lewis says player vending machines were the death of player-to-player sales, so I don't know what we'll see. Yeah. Very quickly, if you have not subscribed to Kane Gaming, you see it right there. Do that right now, please. And then also my wonderful moderator, Vault Girl, if you're not subscribed to her, please do that. Vault Girl 145 is her YouTube channel. So please do both of that. And yes, Todd, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank y'all so much. We're down to the last 10 minutes, y'all. If y'all have questions, y'all have comments, make them now. Mostly we've talked about Starfield today. And I'm glad. I am so excited. I can't wait to talk about Starfield more. I did want to read you a couple of things that that people put on the poll. If you haven't taken the poll on my Twitter page, I encourage you to go over there and do that, about your hype level for Starfield. But this is just a couple of things that was said. Jacob said, I am hyped off the chart for the game, but I'm also excited and nervous because I'm fairly certain I won't be able to play it at launch because my PC will probably be too weak to do it. So he's very hyped. There, Vault Girl put right there in one place. There is Vault Girl's link. You can tap on that and go subscribe to her. And she also put a link to Kane. And I have a trouble with your last name, so I'm not going to try it. But Kane Gaming, there's those two. Please, if you haven't subscribed to those two, subscribe to them before you subscribe to me, really, and then come back and subscribe to me. Cliff says we need a space to store extra stuff. Would be a good addition to Fallout first. Absolutely, it would be. Punk Out, another one of my great followers, says, not looking at leaks at all, but I'm excited to see how things run for the future. And again, I hope y'all understand my stance on leaks and data mine stuff and all that stuff. I normally never touch that stuff. Number one, I don't like spoilers, but when Bethesda leaks it or when Bethesda confirms it, that's when I'm going to give you the news, okay? So if y'all ever wonder, why don't you do data mine stuff? Why don't you talk about the leaks? that's I made that decision a long time ago to stay away from it. James says, I heard a rumor that Starfield will release in July. Again, we did cover that earlier. There are 3 dates that are going around for Starfield when it's coming out. There are some that say it's coming this summer. It's gonna be talked about at E3, which I think that's an absolute given at this point. And then it's actually going to release this summer. That wouldn't shock me. That's not what I think is going to happen. But with what Todd Howard has said in the past about even wanting shorter windows in between telling people about something and the release of the game, I could see that actually happening. I do remember the person that is under Pete Hines. Forgive me, I don't remember her name. She was talking about having something special this summer, but she was actually talking about an E3 type event. So what I expect to happen is we're going to see Starfield at E3, then we're going to see more this summer, probably at QuakeCon, which is great because I'm going to be at QuakeCon. And then it will be this fall's release. Todd says, wouldn't it take peeps away from 76? Which is a really good question. Yes, for a while, but I don't think it's going to hurt 76 in the long run. Bethesda has such a big fan base that anybody that loves Bethesda Game Studios is going to try the new Bethesda Game Studios game. But as quick as people play things today, even the size of Skyrim and Fallout and all that, I don't think it's going to hurt 76 for long. But yes, there will be some people that move away from 76. I'm going to keep playing both the best I can, and I'm going to keep covering both. Any ideas on how many hours of gameplay for Starfield? That's a very good question. I will say that I believe it's going to be bigger than both Skyrim and Fallout 4. It's going to have more hours of play than either one of those games. And I think I can make that statement with pretty much certainty. So you're talking in the hundreds of hours of gameplay. So it's going to be a lot. Yes, absolutely a lot. And remember, we're going back to a single player game. So what we're going to have, hopefully, is almost like you scripted questions for you. Hopefully what we're going to have is the game and 4 DLCs. That's what I want. That's the normal. So that's what I would love to see. 2 smaller DLCs and 2 bigger DLCs. That's what we got. That's what you see commonly nowadays. So I think we'll see something like that. So and the reason I mention that with hours of gameplay, even after you get the first part of the game over with, which 100, 200 hours of gameplay, you're still going to have huge DLCs that are coming as well. Mark says, hey King, I'm wondering if I'll have to play all these games. Yes, you have to. It's required. If you're a subscriber to the KingFanMan channel, you have to play it. Jeremy says they are trying to treat 76 like ESO with paid subscription. You get extra goodies. Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy, like I said before, I think they're going to get on the ESO schedule, which is every 3 months, every quarter, you're going to see new content, major new content coming out. And what they have done, even with the slowdown with COVID and everything, you think about it, just like I said, and I know they're simple things, but we have something different every weekend coming in May and June. We've had that. They've had something every weekend. You say, yeah, but it's just double score or double XP again, they're behind, but think about how great that is. They also update the Atomic Shop every Tuesday. And I know that's kind of a sore subject with people because they haven't put in anything new in it in quite a while. But again, they're behind. I believe they're going to go back to putting new things every Tuesday into the Atomic Shop. With all that said, they're really working hard at keeping Fallout 76 fresh, and I know it's kind of falling behind that right now, but I think it was Chris Myers that says that those kind of games live or die on new content. And I would agree, because there are a lot of people. And by the way, I'm going to run a poll, and I have to give a shout out. By the way, I was watching Angry Turtles live stream the other morning, and he actually shouted me out and told everybody to go watch Scary Places. And he did that before he even knew that I was watching and saw it. So I thought that was very, very cool, very nice. So I don't know that much about him. I do not know him, but I just want to say thank you to Angry Turtle for that shout out. And if y'all go check out Angry Turtle, say I sent you. That's great. But he ran a poll about on his Twitter, YouTube, or wherever, how far you are through Fallout 76. And I think I want to run that same poll, because we get to talking, and I know a lot of us have, we get to talking like we've done everything in Fallout 76. But there are so many newer players, not just brand new, but I mean, all along the spectrum. And 76, if you think about it, has a lot, especially now with Wastelanders and Sheep Squatch and everything that they've added, Brotherhood of Steel, even though that was shorter. Fallout 76 has a lot of content. I would like to know how many hours of content Fallout 76 has, and that the reason they don't do that, because there's events and everything else, you can play it all the time. But if you were just going to go through the actual, what we call content, the storyline, Fallout 76 already has a lot of content. So don't forget that if you finished everything, there's a lot of people out there that haven't, which is really cool for the game and really, really good for the game. Mark says Scrapbox should be free for all players. I have mixed emotions about the Fallout First. I really do. And I have a hard time talking about it as a fan. And the reason I say that is because with my channel and the way I do things, the private server is just almost absolutely necessary. And y'all can understand that for making videos and even doing live streams and stuff like that. So it's worth it for me. But I do understand, the tent and the scrap box and all these things. People say, well, it's behind a paywall. You can put it that way, or you can say it's an incentive for getting Fallout First. So I have mixed emotions, but Fallout First, believe it or not, has been a huge success for Bethesda financially anyway. A lot more people got it than they thought were going to get it. Mark also says a greater Bethesda knows that they took a fundamental thing we do in Bethesda games, hoard and store, and hid it behind a paywall. That's what you're saying. They get no goodwill from me on that. I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. The DBZ collector says, do you think there will be a point where we stop seeing the Scorched and deal with a new threat? That's very interesting. There are so many ways that they can go with Fallout 76, so many different things, and I have a lot of ideas. I do believe the Scorched should diminish because of the things that we have done. The only problem is with getting rid of them is exactly what I just got through saying. There are so many new players. And remember that the Scorched are absolutely vital to the first storyline. So I don't think they'll ever go away, but I do think they will lessen anyway. Let's see. Cliffhanger's talking to Kane. Mark says, King, it's worth it for me too. Just renewed for a second year, $100. I'm there with you. But people that can't afford and how critical storage is, just like to see them help the little guy out. I agree with that 100%. And that's why I say I've got mixed emotions. I understand they have to make money on Fallout 76, and the more money they make, the better they can make the game. And to be honest, you may say, well, surely they're making enough out of the Atomic Shop. Since Fallout 76 did not launch the way that they wanted it to, and it got such a bad reputation around it. There are still people right now that would love Fallout 76 that say they hate it and will never try it. Does that make sense? So Bethesda lost, in a sense, a lot of money on their launch. And they needed something. And I can just tell you, I know this for a fact. When Fallout first came out, they were desperate for more money, which was one of the reasons for Fallout first. And to be quite honest, a reason that they did the scoreboard, because the scoreboard quit giving atoms out and started giving things out, so that when people buy from the atomic shop, they actually have to buy their own atoms. The way that Fallout 76 was set up in the beginning, and if it would have been as popular as Skyrim or whatever, it would have worked. But the way that 76 worked in the beginning, if you did your daily and weekly challenges, you had enough atoms not to go crazy in the atomic shop, but to pretty much buy what you wanted without ever having to purchase atoms. I went a long way through this game without ever purchasing atoms. So they did two things to try to get a little bit more money to the game. Number one, they took atoms away from the challenges. Now you can get 150 every once in a while, but it's stuff now. So they gave us more content, but they also hopefully get people to buy more atoms that way. And then Fallout First. And like I was saying earlier, Fallout First was a huge success monetarily for Bethesda, even though Bethesda got a black eye for it, but people were still upset then about things. But that money has sustained the game. So, and I'm telling you, I'm just telling you fact. I know this. It's not my opinion. It has sustained the game. Let's see. Mark says, be huge on Bethesda for goodwill and force them to do interesting first stuff. I agree. Yeah, that would be great to see. I would like to see that too, to give a different special reward for Fallout First and make the scrap box available to everyone. I agree with that. I think I can see that 100%, and I would be for that. Well, guys, believe it or not, we're out of time. First, I want to mention the super chats. Thank you, Todd, since you gave multiple ones and big ones. Bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you. And I know there were several others, or a couple of others at least, that gave super chats as well. Y'all don't know how much those mean to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. To my Patreons, I have to say another huge thank you. If it wasn't for Patreon and super chat, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't be on YouTube. So thank y'all very much. I did, if y'all didn't notice, I did put the Scary Places on Patreon early. Wasn't much early, but my Patreons got to see it a little bit early, and I'm working on some other stuff for Patreon as well. But they pretty much, my Patreons are pretty much just there to help me, and I appreciate that so very much. Well, guys, I have enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed weekend. And yes, you get out there and play Fallout 76. Get excited for Starfield or whatever games you're playing. Be sure and support your local YouTubers and streamers. And I hope y'all have a blessed Sunday if God gives us tomorrow. Bye, y'all. Thank y'all for being here today. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.